What's up, guys? What is up? I don't know if you guys can see me or not. I look like shit. I really don't care. What a rough game that was. Oh my god. Wow. I had a late night last night. Not for no other reason other than my ass was right here watching UFC 229. But yeah, didn't get to bed till like 3:30. Woke up at 5. Get breakfast, then go to the gym. But anyway, Bills. Typical Bills win. I mean, when the Bills win, it's generally in this fashion. It is ugly, down to the wire, nitty gritty, turnovers, defense, running game. I mean, that's been pretty much the trifecta of success for the Bills. What little they've had in the past, God knows how long. They seem to dial it back for Josh Allen this past game a little bit. I mean. And let's be honest, this receiving corps just, again, continues to show how bad it is because there was one ball I felt Benjamin almost put on the deck again. There was another ball that hit Andre Holmes right in the hands. It just pops up into the air and leads to an interception. I mean, he's on a 5'8". He's being covered by 5'8" Adoree Jackson. And Andre Holmes, 6'5", for Christ's sake. And I've never seen a guy that tall who plays that small. Like, really, he really does play. He plays down to this. I don't see what UC is on that team. They want to say special teams, this and that. Shit, special teams cost the Bills 6 points. The botched snap by Bojorquez, he gets his arm messed up on that because he tried to pick it up, run with it, tried to throw it all crazy. Then you had the big kick return by Nick Williams, the punt return. Titans only ended up getting 3 on that. Nick Williams ended up dropping a touchdown pass to, I believe it was Taron Johnson that was on him. Taron Johnson, who had an interception himself this game. The defense, the young guys really stepped up big. Jordan Phillips made a play for the Bills, a couple of big run stops. He was pretty animated. Jerry Hughes had a really weird sequence where he seemed to have, and I think that's why he pulled up. I felt like he, in my opinion, thought that he had Mariota in the grasp. Yeah, that's questionable, but you never know because that could end up being a turnover. The way these refs call things, bro, you never want to take a chance. And then obviously the Bills didn't get the field goal right after that, but I mean that's hindsight. The broadcast seemed to get on the Bills for that pretty hard. What are you gonna do? It's in the past. They ended up winning and didn't end up costing them. But the way this league is, with the things they call, the things they don't, the things they reverse, the things they choose to stay with on the field, there's no consistency in any of the officiating, any of the calls. So I think you just don't leave anything to chance. You run up, and I wouldn't have run a quarterback sneak there. I would have tried to just run an actual play, just tempo it up a little bit. That's all. But be that as it may, it didn't come back to bite them in the end. Maybe if they would have lost, that field goal by Hauschka would have been bad at the end, and that maybe, who knows. But the defense, the young guys stepped up. I believe Tremaine Edmonds forced that fumble. Am I right? He forced one of the early fumbles. Fucking Milano just seems to be everywhere. I know Mariota had kind of a half leap over him, but he's always, anytime this team gets turnovers, Matt Milano is somewhere to be around. He's somewhere to be found. He's one of those guys. He finds the ball or the ball finds him. That's just the way he is. I notice I'm talking a lot about the defense because the offense was really a bit of a one-trick pony today. They went back to basics. They stuck with the running game, and they just kept it basic. There was a few chances I felt like maybe they could have been a little more. They could have went to the pass a little more. They seemed to just take, they just wanted to scale it back. It was a botch snap. Just lucky you didn't lose the punter, because you lose the punter, I mean, that could have been really, really ugly. I was nervous. You know, that they won. And I noticed there's a lot of things that have been going on with the Bills fan base. Mostly there's a certain segment of media that fuels it, that cover the Bills, and then there's a certain segment of Bills fans who either gravitate one way or another. Culture over strategy. And we've seen it today where a very highly paid wide receiver that plays for the Giants, Odell Beckham, you know, he has to put basically his organization that just handed him a lot of money on blast in a very, you know, public interview he does with Josina Anderson, who is a very cunning, opportunistic mouthpiece for ESPN. I'm not a big fan of hers at all. I think she is very one-sided and very selective in the arguments and the stories and the things she likes to push. And if those of you who follow her know what I'm talking about. So that's culture. They end up losing a close game. But my thing is, Bills teams that we've seen divided in the past, like that 04 team was very much divided. 9-7, you know, we should have beat those third stringers. That was a very divided locker room. There was offense, defense, and they didn't fuck with each other. They had nothing to do with each other. Last year, similar type of team, but they were very much a team. This year, they got caught in a tough game with a 3-1 Titans team. I mean, one bounce of the ball. It was that kind of game. But this team, down a couple of safeties, nothing to speak of at all at wide receiver. I mean, I don't know what more we can say about that, guys. The wide receiver, they have to bring a body in here. They have to bring a body in here. So sometime this week, and I'll get to the other quarterback news earlier. But yeah, strategy over culture over strategy. That seemed to divide the fan base even further. It kind of spilled over to this game. What I mean is style points. There's people they're happy the Bills win, but they just want it to be and look and smell a certain way. And then it counts. By today, it doesn't count because it's not sustainable. Well, it's not sustainable to count on your offense to score, you know, 35, 40 points every game either and throw for 350 yards. And I think Bills fans, even me, you guys, we're so starved for offense. We're so starved for entertainment that I understand the lust and the want and the crave for it. You look around the league, you see the numbers being put up, and we're all just standing here like this saying and asking, why can't we have a taste? Why can't we have a piece? Why can't we have a slice? Why do we have to look but don't touch? But it's just this offense right now is constructed currently, personnel-wise, just I just don't know. It was a hard fought game, and I can't take anything away from them because they won. The facts are they went out, they played the game, and they won. And it was a tough one, Matthew. It was a tough one. Eric knows, Mafia knows. It was a tough game that just it was right down to the wire. They got the ball with what was like around 4 and change left. They just ran the ball down the field, the 1 3rd down, the pass to thing. They got the ball 3 straight plays to Shady. He picks up a first down. Ivory grinded him down there. Shady hit him a few times. I believe Allen had a nice another 3rd down pass he hit. But yeah, it was a good, just a solid win. The numbers aren't sexy. It's not a pretty game by any means on the stat sheet, so don't even bother looking. But they won. It was a big. Yeah, they had that drop and shit. That ball that bounces off Holmes' hands, that gets taken down there for a field goal. That could have been the game right there. That could have been the game. My God, I mean, the guy brings nothing to this roster. He really doesn't. Get to the news before the game. All of a sudden, you know, a little bit of stuff breaks in from Chris Mortensen that the Bills are gonna probably be signing Derek Anderson to come onto the roster and be the de facto backup mentors to Josh Allen. Maybe spare him some abuse at the end of games if they feel like he's getting beat up a little too much. Neither did I, Timothy. I didn't have a lot of hope. And, you know, me as a Bills fan, you just think that, you know, this is going to end in an ugly interception or a strip sack, or we always have this doom and gloom mentality about this team. And thankfully, that didn't happen. They were able to pull their jocks up, grab their nuts, and they won. Unlike a certain MMA fighter with a big mouth last night. Sorry, I had to get that in there. That was funny. But be that as it may, it was a good win, a solid win. I kind of figured today would go one of two ways. They would end up losing a game like this or winning a game like this, because the way you go last week, they don't get blown out, but they get shut out. So any score the opposing team put up looks ugly because you got a donut next to your damn logo. And when you put the donut up there, it's horrible. When your team just gets shut out in this day and age, it's just they don't even make any trips. I didn't even realize they didn't make any trips into the red zone. That's a tough day at the office. Yeah, McCoy looked good, and you got to believe he went in there and just told that coaching staff, look, you got to get me the fucking ball. I'm 30 years old. I don't know how many more years I got left in this body. You got to get me that damn ball. And they got it to him. He did his thing. Hats off to him. We got to start putting some touch. I mean, you know how I feel. They got to score some touchdowns, guys. They just settling for these field goals and the offense bogging down outside the red zone or inside the red zone. They got to start putting touchdowns up, man. What's up, Damager? I mean, can't they just blow somebody to fight? I mean, 1 week. I mean, for the Bills, a blowout was 27-6 against the Vikings. But still, I want to just 1 week. Can we see them just put up 40 and chill? That's it, 40 and chill. Not 40 like the beer, but just, or if you want, while they're winning by 40 and chill. Just like put up 40 and just let us relax just for fucking one afternoon. My God. Yeah, because the wide receiver position, and it doesn't, I mean, Zay looked like he had a little bit of life early. I think he caught 3 passes this game. Benjamin, I think he had 1 or 2 catches, if that. The pass to Ray McCloud, that's the one I'm thinking of on the final drive, where it was like a little wide receiver screen. He seemed to be the 3rd wide receiver on the field today. Not much of Andre Holmes. It looked like they went to Ray McCloud in that role. But yeah, it looks like that, you know, to digress back to Derek Anderson, he's going to come on the roster, be the backup. And from what's the point of, you know, at that point, I think that Nathan Peterman's place on this team is pretty much done. He's probably going to be released, probably re-signed to the practice squad if somebody doesn't claim him to take just the practice team reps, because you're not going to have Josh taking scout team reps. You're not going to have Derek Anderson take scout team reps. He doesn't need those. Probably doesn't even want them. No need to give them to him. So that's what's probably going to happen to Nathan Peterman is pretty much ends his Bill career. Not that game in Baltimore didn't, but this just really puts the final nail in the coffin. So it was, I mean, it's really hard to talk about this game because it was just such a back and forth, really old style game. You know, who says they don't still play defense in the league? Because today was back and forth defense. It was really frustrating. The Bills forcing those turnovers and really not getting anything off of them. Would have been able to really just put this game to bed early. And they had 3 possessions, I believe, that started either just outside the 45 of Tennessee or, you know, right at the 50, and just not come away with much of anything. Was just, just really, really frustrating. Maybe you bring back Curley. I don't know. I have no clue, man. It's just a really, really hard thing right now because who's out there? I mean, but they have to bring something in here that this wide receiving core just does not have. I mean, Robert Foster, what does this guy do other than have the relationship with the pre-existing relationship at Alabama with Daboll? I mean, the guy brings you nothing to the team. I think they wanted to get him on the move. I don't know if the wide receivers are getting separation because I can't see the damn field behind the coverage. It doesn't look like there's much separation, really. There was a few plays he was decisive. Maybe he was late on the throw to Holmes that caused the interception. But like I stated earlier, Holmes is 6'5", 6'5", and he's being covered by 5'8" Adoree Jackson. body that man out and catch it with your hands. Like, there's no reason why that ball should bounce 40 feet in the air and get bingoed like that sitting duck. It would really, and they were moving the ball too. That's what was really frustrating about that. Any turnover is frustrating, but that one really pissed me off. But I'm not going to scream and yell about it now. The Bills, Hauschka, he put that ball, like you said, Eric, money, Hauschka money. They just put it right through the uprights. They ended up going home with the win. I'm glad there was no time left on the clock where the Bills would have had to like kick it off and have some bullshit happen. So awesome. This will settle everybody down, calm everybody down. But I'm sure, like we all do, listen to WGR, they're going to get on there and bitch and moan about style points. That's what's going to happen with this win. A win like this further even serves more divisive because it's going to separate the two sides, culture over strategy. Why can't you have both? Who says culture and strategy are one? They're not. Strategy doesn't necessarily mean about the game. Strategy could be Monday through Saturday, like McDermott talks about, how these guys are treated in the building, how they are take care of their business Monday through Saturday before the game. You know, things like that, how they rehab, how they do this, how people are there. That's all. That's culture. And for a long time, that culture was shit in that building. That's why the Bills were a joke. Everybody knew that building was rotten. It doesn't necessarily mean, I think it means that too. I think there's certain things they'll deal with. There's certain things they won't. I mean, and it's delicious because they brought on Jordan Phillips, the guy who had a blow up with his own coaching staff on the sideline when he was with Miami. They claim him that same day. McDermott made that comment, which I found hilarious because there's a guy who clearly doesn't look like culture fit, but he gets brought on the team. Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough that they don't have a plethora of talent, particularly on offense, and they're so lacking in talent. You just don't realize how lacking in talent they are until the game starts, and you see the other teams, no names like Tajay Sharp and a few other guys making a couple of plays for the Titans, and it's just like last week, Geronimo Allison. Who's Geronimo Allison? I know he catches passes from Aaron Rodgers, for Christ's sake, but still, like, it was just tough. It was tough. It was like there was one play Allen was standing there. It seemed like forever, and he had nobody got open. Nobody got open. Like he was just waiting. It was early in the game, and it was just he got no. Nobody broke free. I'm sorry. I just had to reply to a text really quick, otherwise I'll forget. But guys, that was the kind of game that we're so used to watching as Bills fans. And I get the frustration from fans that want to see exciting offense, explosive offense, with tons of fun stats, tons of fun fantasy numbers, tons of fun numbers to brag about. But it just wasn't to be today, but the W was, and I'm very, very happy about that. Yeah, the coaching staff does get a lot of credit. They really do work hard to keep this team together. They don't let a lot of the outside noise get in there. I mean, it felt like it might be an ugly day with Hyde and Bush down, particularly Hyde, but Bush has served as one hell of a backup so far. And those guys, I don't think Mariota didn't have many passing yards himself. He had a pretty rough day back there. I mean, he almost took 2 delay games down where Suckup hit the field goal in the end anyway. But still, he looked like he was confused, didn't look like he really had a good gauge of what the Bills were trying to do with him. And again, there was certain Bills media, if you listen to certain radio station, that were just anointing Matt LaFleur the next wonderkind of offense after all of, 4 games of being an offensive coordinator for Tennessee. He's all of a sudden the new brainchild that's going to revolutionize offensive football because he was procured from the all holy tree of Sean McVay. And when I see things like that, I'm very, very leery because we've seen people try to borrow the Bill Belichick genius for a decade plus now. Correct? first started with Charlie Weiss, then it was Romeo Cornell, and it's just happened over and over. And people just can't get enough with the Bill O'Briens, with the Mike Vrabels, with your, who's the other cat, Matt Patricia, and all his, guys like Jason Light started in the Patriots organization. The other guy, the GM for Robinson for Tennessee, the GM for the Lions. And the one guy, the guys in Atlanta, Paoli and Dimitroff. Everybody loves wanting to borrow that genius, and guess what? The genius is number 12 and Belichick, because ain't none of them brought Belichick with them. They didn't bring Brady with them, so a few of those guys had their day, but none of them ain't won big, ain't won nothing. So yeah, none of them had 12. But when you have these guys don't even make Timothy. These guys don't make contested catches. They don't even make contested catches. They get no separation. You got to be able to get separation. They get none. They get zero. These guys, they can't even get 1.5 yards to 2. The guy who's supposed to make contested catches for you doesn't. I'm not giving Allen he didn't play a great game by any stretch of the imagination. The guy threw for like 80-something yards, but he did have the touchdown run, which was the only touchdown of the game. Crazy enough as it is, it happened on the Bills. That was their opening drive, no? Tennessee got the ball to start the game, didn't do anything with it, punted. The Bills got it, drove it right down. It's hard, and they won. They made the best of a shit situation, so we're going to see what they come up this week. It was yesterday they released Corey Lee. He hasn't done nothing. He didn't do nothing on the roster except get a few holding penalties last week, I believe, in Green Bay. So they've got to find I don't know what they can. Maybe they just throw something in a pot, stir up, and see what the best 5 offensive guys they can get on the field together. Charles Clay had 1 catch this game. Doesn't practice much, so it's hard to get any chemistry with him and Allen. So it's tough. It's tough sledding right now, guys. And if they're going to win games, it's going to be games like this, games where they force turnovers, get advantageous field position, and try to pounce and hopefully put touchdowns on the board instead of threes, because threes are frustrating. I mean, field goal, in this case, won this game, but sevens are better than sevens, and sixes are better than threes. I'll take them any day of the week. Yeah, I think they kind of reined them in a little bit today. It was obvious the game plan. We heard about them wanting to run, reestablish the run, get back to the run. I felt like last week in Green Bay they were a little pass happy, particularly early in the game when it was still with the margin wasn't too big. It just seemed like Allen was going back there to throw, and it was obvious he was under siege. You don't want him taking a beating. So it's a mixed bag, and we can nitpick about little things we want now because of the win. But if they would have lost, it would have, we talk about a loss with the quarterback only throwing for 80-something yards, and it doesn't look good. But that W, I mean, it helps, but I think sometimes I think it'll help Monday through Saturday as much as it will anything, to be honest with you, because when they're in the film room and maybe he can bounce things off of Anderson, he's got experience. He knows more of what he's seeing. Maybe he'll tell him how to attack these coverages different ways that Peterman couldn't articulate to him. So, I feel bad, for this guy, but he's just the butt of a joke anymore, and getting him off the roster is just a good thing for everybody, including him. But if they can sign a Brashard Perryman or a Kendall Wright, anybody with any kind of resume, or I know Rashard Matthews, because of the history he has with Robisky, is probably not going to happen, but any kind of wide receiver with a pulse. I don't think that's going to happen, Timothy. I really don't. I don't think they're getting – I mean, the only time I think he would sit Allen down if it was late in the game and maybe they were getting blown out or they're blowing somebody out and they don't want him taking any unnecessary hits. I think that's the only case you would see Anderson, but otherwise I don't think Yeah, dude, Eric, anybody, I swear, anybody that they have a pulse, like that's the requirement. Can you play wide? Have you and can you play wide receiver in the NFL? And do you have a pulse? That's basically the bar for Bills wide receivers right now. It is that low. It is really that low. Hold on 1 second, guys. Really, 1 second. Jesus Christ! I'm trying to talk to you guys, and you're blasting the fucking television in the other room, man. Shit was irritating me. I'm sorry about that. I don't know if you guys heard that or not, man. So, I don't know. What do you guys feel about this game? It's hard. It was so back and forth. It really was. When people say they don't play defense in this league anymore, there was a lot of defense going on out there today. There was a lot of defense. It was a lot of back and forth. Obviously, it taxed the offenses. And again, there was a lot of people on a certain radio station just had the anointing oil out for Matt LaFleur as the next offensive genius that's going to be the Browns' next head coach and all this grandioso crap. And I'm like, boy, do these guys just – it's flavor of the theme of the week. Every week it's a new little – and it's just – it never changes. It never changes. Edmonds, again, I believe he forced the fumble. And when I watch games like we watched today, I try to extrapolate the good and hope to God the team is really like honing in on what wasn't. And the offense wasn't good today. It was good enough. The things that they said that they wanted to work on worked. They got to the running game. They had a good 1-2 going with Shady. Shady got the sexy yards. Ivory got the ugly yards. And Ivory was big on that last drive. He got some all day. He got some tough third and shorts. And he started off one drive with a big 7-yard run where he made yards that weren't there with his physicality. He just got tough. The front four, Timothy, is finally starting to pay dividends. Oh, Murphy had a sack. He had a pressure. He had the pressure that forced Mariota to throw that crazy ball. It looked like Trey White might have had a chance to intercept on the sideline with a tippy toe, but that didn't happen. What's up, Chris? Yeah, it's hard to tell right now, Chris. It really is, because you got the rookie quarterback. You've got nothing to speak of at wide receiver. They're trying to find their identity. How much does he give I don't know. The offensive line wasn't a big issue today. It was a ticky-tack call on Deion Dawkins after the Correa, I believe, linebacker for Tennessee, got a personal foul against Josh Allen, and the refs automatically give one back to Tennessee, like the 15 yards. It's like these refs, this league is such a joke with these fucking zebras. They really are. They have no clue where their assholes or elbows or they're coming or going. They really don't. They really don't. They just want to change things on the fly, explain themselves away, like with the play clock in Kansas City and Denver, where all of a sudden the league comes out and said, well, the play clock is not a hard and fast rule. Then why the fuck is a play clock there? Why do you get a 5-yard penalty if it's not a hard and fast rule? It's just crazy that wow. Looks like the Vikings are going to put another score on the board here soon. Thielen just caught a long one. Got the Vikings out of a hole. They're up 17-3 on the Eagles. Woo, wow. But, yeah, it was a tough day, guys. You know, they don't spare our souls, do they? This team just will not spare our souls. Yeah, there's just the Browns game this week, the Browns and Raiders game last week with the spot of the ball, then the re-spot of the ball. And just, I mean, there was a game, there was, I forget there was a few calls in a Bills game that was just weird call. You just don't know. You have no, it's like every time the Bills have a good play, there was a few big runs Shady had. And I'm instantly looking down at the screen to see if there's the little yellow sign for a penalty, for a flag. Every time there's a good play, it's the first thing I look to is like, oh, is there a flag? Like, I can't enjoy the play. I have to sit and stop and look and see if there was a flag. It's the worst. It's the worst. It's just, they're terrible. And it all starts in New York, right over here with all these marketing and lawyers trying to change rules and make rules, and they've never played the game. They're just a bunch of yuppies who are children of privilege that have gotten their way through life through nepotism, and that's it. And they want to try to legislate grown-ass men who want to play a fucking full-grown contact sport at full speed. You can't do that. Would anybody have watched or ordered the UFC last night if they didn't? What are we wanting to see when we watch things like that? Boxing, Triple G Canelo, Conor Khabib. What do we want to see? We're paying to see a fight, right? Somebody get their ass handed to them. That's what we're trying to pay for. It'd be trying to sell boxing without blood. You can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. You're trying to sell boxing without blood, guess what? You ain't going to sell it. Nobody buying it. All the shit that happened after the fight. You can't pick and choose what violence that you want to condone and condemn. You can't. You can't plug the fight with Conor premeditatedly attacking a bus, throwing dollies, and injuring fighters, some of whom are suing him right now, and then be all offended and about what happened after. You can't have it both ways. Yeah, flag football league, the NFL, no fun league. Bullshit. It's terrible. But thankfully, in this game, I can't say there was too many. In this game with the Bills, as bad as the refs are, they didn't fuck up too bad today. So I can't complain too much. I can't complain too much. So about this game, but you never know what next week is going to bring or what game we're going to see. The rest of this one or the one after at 8, what kind of bullshit fuckery we'll see by this league and its refs. You know what? And sometimes the refs aren't put in a disadvantageous position too, because they're constantly changing the rules on them. They want to try to make money. They want to kowtow to the league and give the league what they want. They have all these meetings and all. It's full speed sport. All these guys are older. They're trying to run around and watch what these world-class athletes do in real time and call it. It's just really, really frustrating, guys. I'm sorry I went on a big-ass tangent about that. Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible to watch. And thankfully that there won't be any more. We get another week where we get to chill and see what happens with this team. Hopefully Hyde and Bush get back. They add Anderson. They release Peterman. He probably gets signed to the practice squad. Please, Jesus Christ, and all that is holy, let them sign a wide receiver of any ilk. I don't care. Peterman, Perriman, Macklin, anybody. Anybody. So I know you guys probably had a long day. I don't know, maybe some of you went to the game. I know, Eric, you go to the game sometimes. Dez, I don't see Dez on this team. I read something about him battling depression. Maybe he's coming to the realization his playing career is really much kind of winding down and people aren't calling and looking to sign him like he thought he would get. And there's no big contract coming next year, obviously. So I don't know. Number 88's for Dallas. That's the 80 whatever 81s. That's a weird team to be a wide receiver for. You either retire a Cowboy or you go and you get ostracized. I mean, T.O. had a nice little run after his Cowboys career. I mean, he wasn't an issue with the Bills, wasn't one with the Bengals. Dez is just, he's stuck in no man's land. But anybody I'm desperate. If they brought him on for a cup of coffee, I probably wouldn't complain, to be honest with you, because he can't be much worse than what they've had on the roster. It's just it can't be much worse. So, all right, Bills fans, you have a good one. I mean, this game was just it's pretty much hard to go in deep about. I just know that's going to be the big point of contention about this game. Wasn't even so much the game, the win. The win's going to get lost in all the talk about how this is not sustainable, how, offense and the style points. And I'll just say this. The Browns had Baker Mayfield threw for 340, but they won the game 12-9. The Bills won 13-10. But Mayfield's stat sheet looks sexy, but the result at the end is still the same. But, you know, again, people, do they get style points? Maybe on the stat sheet, stat sheet style points, but they scored one less point. So what are you going to do? All right, guys, can't win for losing with some people. Have a good one. Take care. Go Bills. Sorry, the damn chat kind of has this little pause, and I don't see it. And then sometimes I see it. Like right now, I don't see the chat. Okay. Yeah, it's not sustainable, but they got to get better on offense. All right, Timothy, Gary, take care. I appreciate all you guys. Eric, Chris, all you guys for dropping in. I'll probably be on later in the week after Anderson signed. Maybe they sign tomorrow or Tuesday. I probably tomorrow. If news broke today, maybe Tuesday. All right, guys, have a good one. Take care. Go Bills. Good win. Solid win. I'm very happy about that. Thanks for subscribing, Gary, if you still see me.